Hello and welcome to tonight's lesson, Lesson 10-3 on the area of circles. In tonight's lesson, you're going to be able to find the areas of circles, and you're also going to be able to find the area of the irregular figures that include either a whole circle or parts of a circle. So let's get started. And we're going to skip the warm-up and go straight to what it means when we talk about the area of a circle. When we talk about the area, again, that's finding what's on the inside. In Chapter 9, we talked about circumference, what was the outside. So tonight we're focusing on the green, on finding the inside of the circle, this 10 round. So how we do that is using this formula. Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. And again, when we talk about the radius, that's just half of the diameter. Now, so you're going to really be using that pi is equal to radius squared, pi r squared. In tonight's lesson, though, you need to watch for the words exact and approximate because they mean two different things. When they talk about the exact, that's using this whole idea of pi, that 3.1415926, and so on. So when you have a question where it asks for the exact area of a circle, you're going to leave it in terms of pi. So if it's 40 pi centimeters squared or 25 pi centimeters squared, whatever it is, you leave it as pi. Now when they use approximate, that's when they want you to use an estimate for it. So instead of leaving it as pi, we multiply by 3 and 1400ths. So you just take it a step further if they ask for the approximate. And you'll see what I mean in tonight's lesson. So here, it says find the exact area of a circle with a radius of 50 inches squared. So again, we could draw a circle, and here it says it's 50 inches is the radius. So we use that formula, pi r squared. Pi times radius squared. And what I do is fill in 50 for the radius, square it, and then times it by pi. Now remember when they talk about square something, it's not 50 times 2, it's 50 times 50, which is 2,500. So right now we have 2,500 pi inches squared. And because they want the exact, we leave it just like that. Because we leave it as pi, multiplied by the whole figure of pi. So that's our answer. Now here we have this one. Find the exact area of a circle with a diameter of 20 inches. So I'm going to leave this one to you, but I'm going to throw out this hint here. It talks about diameter. Think of what it means when they say diameter compared to radius. So I want you to try to do it, and when you're all done, come back and check your answer. So pause me now. All right, so if you were to do this one first, if we're talking about the diameter being 20 inches, that means that all the way across is 20 inches. Well, we want just the radius, which is half of that. So the radius is equal to half the diameter. So the radius here is not 20, it's actually 10 inches. So please make sure you're looking at radius versus diameter. Now you can fill in that formula. So pi times radius squared, well, the radius is 10 squared times pi, and you get 100 times pi inches squared. And because they want exact, that's your answer. Now in this next one, they talk about the approximate area. A TV station's weather radar can detect precipitation in a circular region having a diameter of 100 miles. Find the approximate area of that region. And again, I'm going to draw a picture because I like pictures. They help me figure it out. So here's our TV station, and they say their radar can detect all the way across 100 miles. So if we take a look at my picture here, it shows that we're looking at the diameter. Well, so first thing I have to do is get the radius, which is 50 miles. Now I can go ahead and put in my formula, pi times radius squared, with the radius being 50, and times pi. So 50 squared is 2,500 pi miles squared. Now, if they wanted the exact, we would stop right here. But this time it says the approximate area. So what I end up doing is multiplying this 2,500 by the approximate of pi, which is 3 and 1400ths. So 2,500 times 3 and 1400ths My approximate area is 7,850 miles squared. That would be my answer. Again, all we did this time around was multiply by 3.14 because they wanted the approximate. Alright, so now we're on to the next piece, example 3, and they want us to find the area of this irregular shape. Now, I didn't do a good job of tracing this, but this figure is actually like this. So it's like they took this chunk out right here, and we need to find the area of that. Now, you might notice right away saying, well, I have a rectangle, and then, well, there's that piece that a shark took out, or just that middle oval piece. So what you end up doing is having to use what you know. Well, we know if we wanted to find the whole area, including this chunk, you would just do the area of the rectangle, length times width. So let's do that. 20 feet times 40 feet, so the whole rectangle here is 800 feet squared. Alright, so that is if we had all of this. This all right here would be 800. But we don't actually have the whole thing. We need to take out this piece right here. So we need to subtract out that little piece. So if you look at it, well, I have here half of a circle with a radius of 12. Because I could finish it out and go like that. So we need to figure out what the area of that piece is. So again, you do 12 squared times pi, because pi are squared, radius is 12. So we could do that. 12 times 12 is 144 pi, but that doesn't mean much. So we need to multiply this by 3 1400ths. So times 3.14, oops, and you get 452 and 1600 feet squared. Now here's the problem though. This whole thing right here is not 452 feet. Right? We found the area of a whole circle, but this shape didn't have a whole circle. But it's half of one. So to find the area of just that little piece there, you have to divide this answer by 2. Because again, it's only half of a circle. So you get 226 and 800 feet squared. There we go. Now we found the piece here that I shaded in blue. So to find the area in green, you're going to subtract the 2. So we have 800 feet squared minus 226 and 800, and you get 573 and 9200 feet squared. There we go. That would be your answer. Now in this one, it says the lawn below needs grassing. What is the area of the lawn? I'm going to have you do this one in a moment, but I just want to point out one thing. Yes, it's very similar to the last one we did. You see a rectangle, you see half of a circle. But this time, this piece is added on. So you not only have that rectangle, but you have that oval piece, or that half of the circle right there. So at the end, you're going to have to add those numbers. So go ahead and try to solve this one. And when you're all done, come back and check your answer. So go ahead and pause me now. All right, let's check your answer, shall we? So I'm going to start by finding that large rectangle by doing that area, 25 times 45 feet, and I get 1,125 feet squared. So I found that. Now I have to do that half circle, higher squared. So 12 squared is 144 pi. And again, you can times that right away by 3 1400ths. Because again, we can't just leave it like that. And I get 452 and 1600. But again, it's only half of a circle, so I have to divide it by 2. And you end up with what we just did the last time, 226 and 800 feet squared. Now, like I was saying before, you're going to have to add these this time because that piece is added on and not being taken out. So when you add them, you get 1,351 and 800 feet squared. All right, that would be your answer. So in tonight's lesson, we talked about how to find the exact and the approximate area of a circle, and also how to find the area of an irregular figure. You have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. Adios.